What is a poor man's luxury that you will never give up, no matter how much money you make? Standing on a covered patio, or sitting in the garage with the door open while it downpours outside. Bread and cheese in the toaster oven. Was good enough for me as a latchkey kid in the 90s, will be good enough for me when I'm on the cusp of dropping dead. I don't know if it's a luxury, but I don't think I'd give up building things just because I can now afford an expensive, ready-made version. I like the process of figuring things out and problem solving and then saying I made that. Afternoon naps. Peak luxury, zero cost. Watching rain or snow from a safe and cozy place has got to be in the top 10 list of human experiences. Why get it in 30 minutes for 50 when I can make it in 2 days for 150? I kid. I sew occasionally and it usually feels like this. Homemade coffee instead of expensive cafe drinks, instant ramen, pizza rolls, cheap comfort food, a good meal eaten slowly and peacefully, nothing beats the one I make myself at 6 a.m. Cheese and crackers has been my go-to snack for decades, especially with a glass of red wine. Sleeping in with no alarm set. Doesn't matter how much money I make, that feeling of waking up naturally with nowhere to be will never get old. My psychological price. Regardless of how much I make, if the price seems stupid and if I feel robbed, I won't pay. I can pay $1,000 for a wool coat. If it's well made, durable. It's difficult to find good quality for much less. I will never ever pay $100 for a t-shirt. Nothing justify that, it's just robbery. Even if it's meaninglessness for me, I hate this feeling of being a walking wallet. That's why I hate most luxury brand, you only pay the fucking marketing. The occasional homemade biscuits and gravy. Shorts and a t-shirt. I dress up when necessary, but I've made a life where it's not necessary. I will never pay for tea in a cafe. A bag hot water? Not paying $6 for that. I will always make tea at home no matter what. I also have dunking biscuits at home, so it's a win-win for me. Good street food. Like those late night eats that costs almost nothing but hit way better than fancy restaurants. He said, poor man. Look at your patio and your garage. Cinnamon toast. It's just butter, brown sugar, and cinnamon on bread toasted in the oven on broil. Costs like 10 cents to make. It's delicious. This. It is my dream to just nap in cool places. Under trees. Sunrooms. With dogs. On the beach. I just want to say I took it slow, enjoyed my time, and had a nice rest. I used to buy the expensive coffees by the pound until those bags got in the $20-30 range. I discovered I liked them not for how they tasted, but that they were a familiar tasting ritual I had every morning. I realized I didn't want to switch this 25 pounds coffee for that 25 pounds coffee, not because it tasted worse, but because it was unfamiliar. That led me to realize I can adjust familiarity to a much cheaper coffee. So, I bought a bunch of different cheap coffees to see what was least off. I'm doing this later today, already made plans for it when I saw the forecast for this afternoon. Is sleeping in a poor man's luxury? Sounds pretty rich to me. Edit, spelling. A fresh, piping hot shower after a long day, followed by putting on a pair of brand new 10 multi-pack socks. I love Hamburger Helper, sue me. Edit. For all of the people with HH memories growing up, if you were a kid between 1990 and 2000, a box of Hamburger Helper and a pound of ground beef would cost your mom or dad about $2.50. Today, depending on where you live, that same meal would be around the $8-10 range. Now a lot of these food trucks are charging $20 a plate. I might as well go to a restaurant. I got tea from Starbucks once. A large tea is just extra hot water and not an extra tea bag. Never again. Slices of grocery store sheet cake. God. I love a piece of simple chocolate sheet cake with a white buttercream from the grocery store. They have fancier things in there, but they don't hit like a regular cake does. Boil ramen. While that's boiling, fry an egg over easy. Drain noodles, add butter and seasonings. Stir. Then add egg and break yolk. Stir. The yolk mixes with the butter and seasonings to make a faux carbonara, kinda. Standing in the front yard watching thunderstorms roll in, then either watching it from the front porch or just back out in the front yard rain playing. Yep, this shit. Oh, brown sugar? I've always had it with cinnamon and white sugar. That sounds so much better. I hate that I can't nap anymore. You're right that there is little better than laying down in a dark, cool room and gently waking up, feeling refreshed. Totino's Party Pizzas. Exactly, you're wealthy, not an idiot. I'm in a more comfortable place now, but I almost always buy on sale or outlet when it comes to clothing. It's a ripoff generally. Hauling stuff out of the trash, fixing it, and using it in my home. My whole electronics lab is equipped with lamps, plug strips, power supplies, oscilloscopes, etc. that I pulled out of e-waste. I could afford new stuff, but where's the fun in that? I was spending sometimes $70 on fancy press-on nails until my mom said I bet we can make those for less. I've now spent hundreds on supplies, a new cabinet with a fold-out table, a fancy nail tech light, and most recently, a 3D printer. I realized how much I loved doing it, so now it's a business. At least the cost will be recouped through sales. Miller High Life. The champagne of beers. I'd still eat Kraft Dinner. I'd just eat more of it with all the fanciest ketchups. All the fanciest Dijon ketchups. Mac and cheese. Tortilla chips covered in shredded cheese and microwaved. Thrift shopping. Going out into nature. It's a free activity, finances have no impact. Could have all sorts of money and would still enjoy it just the same. That new cotton sock feel is unmatched. I think the main reason to get tea at a tea house is that you can drink fresh tea in fancy blends. Getting a stale bag of Red Rose at a Starbucks is probably just done for convenience or an excuse to sit down at the cafe. This takes me back. I almost made some pizza toast last night since I had pepperonis in the fridge. So good. My son and I did that last summer. Had a crazy heavy rainstorm come through, so we sat in the garage while dinner was cooking. Then he wanted to run out into the rain. So damn fun. And stovetop loudly crying face. Clean, crisp, white bed sheets dried on a clothesline. If you want to make sure you can buy a 100 t-shirt, you just have to look for the right material and how it was made, which type of cotton fabric, etc. Same for wool, real leather. Never buy anything actually plastic PU leather, faux anything, cotton blends, etc. and go for the practical, ergonomic aspects as well as how long it will last, how do you clean and store it, etc. I have two simple wool sweaters that are from a luxury designer brand and were bought in the 60s and past. Love this psychological price is a great phrase. I've always struggled to find the words for that feeling. I'm financially fine and can afford many things I want. But just because I can afford them does not mean I want to pay that price. It still needs to be worth it to me, and that's a weird formula that my brain makes up, seemingly on the fly. You want $250 for a hand-stitched, made in the US where I live, rock-solid backpack with a lifetime warranty? Expensive, B. I don't think it's a poor man's luxury, but no amount of money will make me want to buy expensive designer clothes. I prefer the clothes I wear now and the price I pay for them. Lunch naps were the highlight of WFH for me. Our work hours factor in an unpaid lunch break. Most people will go grab something for lunch and take it back to their desk. If your lunch break is at home unpaid, why nap? Me too. Working from home is the main thing for that for me. Long, unplanned walks with good music. OMG, we are about to close on a house, and while we are wrecked from the packing, Lord, I'm looking so forward to sitting on the porch on my swing during summer storms, listening to the sound of cars' wheels on the wet road and watching people walk by. Heartsuit. I've made a life where it's not necessary is one of the most peak things I've ever read in my life. Instant noodles, specifically Shin Ramen. To which I add a jammy or sunny side up egg, scallions, and whatever veggies I have on hand. Sometimes nothing hits like instant noodles. Also CeraVe Hydrating Facial Wash and CeraVe Body Lotion. No need to spend a ton of on something you're just going to wash off in seconds. Save the fancy actives for stuff that stays on your face. And I love the CeraVe body lotion because not only do you get a pound of lotion for $10, but it doesn't tea-eerie. Tortilla and slice of American cheese in the microwave. Rolled up into a taquito. Still eat it regularly. As a kid, I asked an uncle that became wealthy late in life why he doesn't build stuff anymore since it was partly his hobby. He basically said having more money afforded him more time to try a multitude of things and spend more time sleeping and hanging out with family. Seemed weird to me as a kid, but makes total sense now. I'd love to sleep a bit more. This makes me miss smoking cigarettes. Clean bed sheets. That just brought back memories to being a little kid and staring at it watching the cheese start to bubble. Now I've got a flashback to calling them bubblies when I was a tiny kid. I have the same kind of psychological limit embedded in my head. I come from poverty and today am comfortable enough financially. When I go grocery shopping, as an example, I often deny my kids wanting specific things because they are insultingly overpriced. They got the idea by now, so when they want things they check the price tag first and compare it around before they come to me and pitch their sale. I hate being targeted as a moron and sold cheap crap as if it was made of gold. That $1.50 hot dog deal at Costco. You should start a company in Sweden and call it IKEA. This is more like a childless person luxury than a poor man's luxury. I'm a physician who still enjoys Chef Boyardee. It smells like dog food but tastes like yum. Please don't judge me. If you know how to fix stuff, you are by no means a poor man, and sir, you never will be. Why would a rich person give up clean bedsheets, lol? Entry-level frozen pizza tombstone all day. My husband comes from nothing and has done well for himself. He will never give up Sara Lee strawberry cheesecake. That was his special birthday treat and he loves it. I shocked some of my coworkers when they saw me adding actual ingredients to coffee instead of buying bottles of coffee flavoring syrup. I pointed out that you can add vanilla or cinnamon from the grocery store instead of something specifically marketed for coffee. Yesterday I booked an Airbnb near where I grew up and mentally I started making a vacation grocery list, and this was the first item that came to mind. I grew up foraging morel mushrooms and my mother always added them on a Totino's pizza. Going for a walk instead of a drive. Have pizza rolls gotten shittier lately? The ones I recently got were more hollow and not as flavorful as they used to be. The smell of sheets fresh off the line after a hot shower and diving into my bed is a perfect end to my day. If I could, I would wash and line dry every day, but that's a bit much, lol. The ability to talk shit in my safe space while drive among idiots. Adopting my dogs. It is a privilege and a luxury to share a home with the pure love and life that is a dog. I imagine cat people feel the same. I will always adopt from a shelter, and I will always own a dog. Ramen noodles with egg, can't beat it. Noodles. I will never give it up. Because it will never let me down. Or turn around and desert me. I grow lemongrass and lemon balm because of this. They grow like crazy. I can assure 100 organic since it's just here. Just gotta pluck a handful, give it a good rinse, and right into the hot water it goes. Absolutely delicious and free beyond the initial cost of seed packet cents. Technically it's a tisane, but also amazing thrown in with white or black teabag of whatever cheapest brand. Poverty nachos. For me, it comes down to time. I always built or fixed things myself because I refused to pay somebody to do something that I could, usually, do better. And I just couldn't afford it. Now I can afford to pay somebody that is actually my equal or better, but that is both hard to find and very expensive when you do someday. I'll go back to doing stuff myself. When I have moved time. Building things isn't exactly a poor person's hobby once you find the right material. Like my favorite wood for making stuff is Purple Heart. But that shit is expensive. Where a pine board may cost like $5, obviously size makes all the difference. Just throwing out a random price for a 1x4, Purple Heart for the same size is closer to $80. Homemade coffee 1000. It is always better, and I cannot do anything after getting out of bed before I have my coffee. I was going to make the same comment, searched just in case. Take my upvote, fellow BNL fan. Sitting in peace on the porch when it's storming. Not a luxury, but I recently accepted the fact that I like American cheese, especially if it's gonna be melted. Hamburger Helper, PBJ, and Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs straight from the can. Also, shell noodles with a combination of butter and whatever spices I have available. One on my all-time favorite comfort snacks meals. Thanks, Gay Todd. I hope you're doing well, my dude. I kinda miss ya. Looked for you for years on social media, and either you never cared about social media, or you aren't with us anymore. Ice cold, right after mowing the lawn. It's like Mother's milk. Toast. Just 2 pieces of Warburton's thick bread. It's a UK thing in the toaster and heaps of butter on. It's great for breakfast, dinner, tea, and supper. My wife and I work from home for ourselves and stopped setting an alarm. We work when we need to and make enough to support the lifestyle we want. I spent a month building a garden last year. It's an incredible way to live instead of trying to grind ahead. We decided we wanted to start traveling, so we're revving up a bit more income to put aside for various trips. We're not rich by any means, but we've found ways to make our lifestyle work by moving to cheaper locations and knowing our finank.